The universal question in industry today is how to find the key that will increase production and flexibility and lead not only to survival, but success as well. Machines standing idle mean no income to buy new machines or maintain existing ones. No income to cover salaries, research and development, or marketing. More often than not, poor use is made of advanced capital equipment with little consideration all too often being paid to the social and technical implications of installing and running such technology. This leads to unnecessary costs to cover unused production resources, which reduces the company's competitiveness and leads slowly but surely downhill. Industry and sports have something in common. You can boost your performance and win by keeping up the pace and training in order to improve. If you don't do this, you risk falling behind, with your competitors taking over the lead. It's basically a question of keeping in top gear, planning the race and making sure your team's supremely fit and motivated with top-class equipment. Industry has much to learn from other business sectors, for example, to sell first and then produce. We know that the delay between order and delivery is constantly being cut. Stocks of raw materials and semi-finished parts should be kept to a minimum. It's important to deliver the right material with short delivery times. And the technique and know-how to reduce lead times is available. It's just a matter of using these techniques in a rational way and creating the right social environment which will lead to creative productivity and flexibility. To achieve a quick result, everyone should know what their tasks are. Changing from one product to another or one job to the next should be a matter of minutes, not hours and days. One-minute setup or changeover in a minute is what System 3R can offer you. 1 minute setup is the key to increased productivity and flexibility within all areas, in production, administration and marketing. Our common goal is to change jobs in 1 minute, or get the machine running for a new job within 1 minute, or gaining a clear understanding within 1 minute of just how to do the setup. If we're to talk about a just-in-time delivery policy, we have to introduce a productivity strategy for uniform setup times between jobs. We call this 1 minute setup. Setup times of hours are reduced to just minutes. The 1 minute setup strategy opens the door to a new industrial era, the 3R era, for increased productivity and flexibility in interaction with the three resources: man, machine, and computer power. Taking the step into this new era or change in strategy is an important decision which calls for the support of the management and board of directors. Only with this support can you get the whole company to start thinking new, and eventually the goal will be reached: increased productivity and flexibility. So once the management has given its blessing, it's up to everybody to apply themselves to reaching the goal: 1 minute setup. We can start with the machines, where the setup times might be hours and sometimes days. With such setup times, the aim of the new strategy, 1 minute setup, may sound like pure fantasy. It is not impossible, however, considering the outdated methods and equipment used today. Take for instance the machine table, which is missing 2 fixed references in the X and Y directions. Is there anyone around who can actually find the position of the workpiece and fixtures? These positions must be defined before production can get going.
Viking 301 is clear to start and push.
Viking 301 start and push.
Klart för push.
What pilot would consider starting his flight without knowing where he's to land? What captain would maneuver his ship without knowing the waters? And the orienteers would soon get lost. Established fixed references and positions are the first step towards 1 minute setup. You have to know where you are, otherwise you just can't carry out quick and simple setups. Increased productivity and flexibility can only be achieved if positioning is done from fixed references. Without fixed references, safe and reliable communication between man, machine and computer is impossible. There is quite simply no common language. The computer or NC control is digital and the machine table's analog. Without fixed references on the machine table, it's impossible to communicate, even between members of the same team. Each one of them has a particular task to carry out to keep production running efficiently. The 1 minute setup production strategy calls for a high degree of simplicity and logic to avoid any risk of misunderstanding. What we need here is basically a common language to combine simplicity with increased productivity and flexibility. The machine table without references is just one example where the lack of a system will lead to long setup times, loss of quality and extra costs. In this case, the answer is REFIX, Reference System. A solution as simple as it is brilliant. You simply introduce fixed references with REFIX reference tables. The exact positions of the reference holes have now been established relative to the electronic 0 points of the 3 coordinate axes, X, Y and Z. The loop between the machine spindle, reference holes and coordinate axes has now been closed. Thus, an important condition for the productivity strategy 1 minute setup has been fulfilled. For more than 100 years, the machine table has been missing the X and Y references, and this design is still being supplied as standard today, even for the most advanced and expensive machining centers, EDM machines, jig grinders, and so on. Who is responsible for having designed the incomplete machine table? It seems to have taken shape at some point between the machine manufacturer and the end user. The manufacturer claims it's up to the end user to set up fixed references on the machine table, while the user, having other things to think about, accepts the supplier's design, only to find that it reduces his productivity and flexibility and leads to quality problems. For children at kindergarten, fixed positions are obvious in the games they play, although as far as they're concerned, productivity, flexibility and quality problems are still far away. Over 8,500 years ago, the Stone Age man realized the need of fixed positions to allow him to make his weapons and his tools. For Swedish industry, the problem of the incomplete machine table is now history, thanks to the establishment of Swedish Industrial Standard, which is based on System 3R's REFIX technology. It's easy to solve this problem once you have understood that everything circles around the 3 references in accordance with the 3R technology. Only then can we create the right conditions for 1 minute setup at all stages of construction and production. This applies both to manual and computer-based technology. In other words, everything starts from the 3 references, which is also the starting point for System 3R tooling and methods. Making a major investment in machines and computers without reference to the overall situation can be disastrous. The way to increase productivity and flexibility is most often based on simplicity combined with systems and machines linked to a total view. In order to achieve total productivity and flexibility, the infrastructure in tooling and knowledge must be built on interaction between the three resources: man, machine, and computer, representing knowledge, hardware, and software. The surgeon doesn't start operating until the team, all the instruments, equipment, and monitoring devices are ready. Diagnosis has been made and everything's been set up and prepared before the serious business of the actual operation can start. Only as members of a team speaking the same language based on experience, knowledge, rules and so on can we make full use of our resources. The self-producing machine does not exist. Only with human effort can it perform. In other words, man is the most important factor for creativity, productivity, and flexibility. Our worldwide marketing organizations and international partners are always at your service to show that System 3R really is the best way towards increasing your productivity and flexibility. With tooling, systems, concepts and training, we are offering our customers in tool rooms and serial production support to introduce the 1-minute setup productivity strategy. Our application videos show our concepts in different combinations of systems and machines for 1-minute setup. 3R offers you results as follows.